Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jerred Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Joe's not here. Kyle's not here. Who's here? If you're audio listening only, you have to guess.
/ I laugh, so
they
knew.
Ashley. Oh, they got Ashley, and then it's Trampus. What's up, man?
And Trampus. What's going on?
We have Trampus. We'd like to bring Trampus in when we're doing any female studies because he just has a super unique perspective and definitely need that when we are ironically doing a female study. Trampus tends to come on. It's
despite that being a joke, it is 100%.
It's true, but
not factual. Not factual.
We did not plan that at all. But since we haven't heard from you in a while, Trampus, how about you give us an update? How's life? We'll do updates all around. Life
is good. I hate using the words super busy, but I am super busy in my life right now. My other job, the one that's not selling t-shirts, it's gotten crazy in the last couple weeks, but it's been a good thing overall. Tons of new responsibility, and it looks like even more coming up. So that's always good. And then just as far as EO3 and fitness, doing the 300 challenge is keeping me moving. Been a steady 6 days a week since
still on track
since the beginning of March. February and January were 7 days a week. I missed a couple days through both of those, but I'm at like 126 or 127 days, so almost halfway, and still have plenty of time, even if I were to get off track. But not seeing it. 303. It's going well.
What do you think you'll do next year?
See, I don't know. I've always had something. We did BCT, and then halfway through BCT, I decided to do Murph. Or no, it was the other way. We did Murph, and then halfway through BCT, you decided to do BCT, so we did Murph and BCT. That was finally over. And then you came up with a 300 challenge. I don't know what we'll do next year. I've sort of decided to not pursue Spartan races because I was doing that for such a long time. But I've also told, like, my wife's like, yeah, sure, you said that every time.
I feel the same way. I'm like, he'll probably be doing a Spartan race within 60 days. He just doesn't even know it.
No, I haven't signed up for any, but like if a large group of Garage Gym athletes were meeting nearby at a Spartan race, I mean, I don't know how I couldn't go to that. So I'm not planning on any, but I'm not saying no to them either. But yeah, I don't know what 2023 challenge we could tackle.
Yeah, it's not a real year in my mind. I'm not even thinking about it.
I was like, that's way too far ahead for you.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what I'm doing next week other than training tomorrow. 6 days.
After this podcast is a mystery for me. Ashley, how's life going for you?
I love your planning. It's good. Life is good. We closed on a house this week.
Congrats.
Thank you. It was a crapshoot though. It was a hot mess. It was easier closing on a house in the UK than it was closing from state to state. And it was just due to the lender. Anyways, note to self, get a good lender. Even if they're trying to trick you with, hey, we're going to give you this much at closing, it might not be worth it.
Yeah.
Anyways, hashtag adulting. No, but it's good. It's been storming here for the last couple of days. I sent you guys a screenshot on our Slack chat of just the amount of rain that we've been getting, and we're under like a tornado watch, and it's been crazy. But we've got like a month left in Florida, and so Scott and I have been looking at our calendar, and I feel like every single weekend at least is filled up, and then there's so many like little things to do. So Trampus, I feel you on being quite busy and trying to figure things out. So we'll just be in a state of transition for, I don't know, quite some time, I guess. But yeah, long weekend coming up. So we got some travel, and which kind of goes with our topic, which is cool. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Oh, daily over decades. Good. Over halfway. I'm on
Whatevs.
Whatevs. It's good. I'm on 203, level 3. 200 level 3, 200 level 2. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. 200 level 3 doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's going well. Finishing up the last bit of the cycle, which is crazy. And I brief for Harder to Kill in 3 block, which is really bad for me because every week I feel like I text Jerred, why? So I will be going back to Harder to Kill, shockingly enough.
Got to win everybody back. I feel like I was losing a lot of people to strength for a while. I got to bring everyone back to Hard to Kill. Start selling it on the podcast again.
Yeah, Joe was crushing it. Jerred, how's your life?
It's good. I'll start with a 300 update. So that's going fine. I think it's a good challenge. The 300 minutes and the 300 calories are definitely what make it the challenge for me, because I had previously done 300 training sessions. And I really like that just as like a goal or a benchmark for the year. I think I'll always kind of do that and track that. But then the 300 calories, that makes it a lot tougher. And
the minutes, because like you can't slip, like, or you're gonna have like a terrible Saturday/Sunday. Like it's, you're gonna have to, if you miss 2 days, it's tough to make all those up.
Yeah. Like I think I took a Monday off one week. It's like, and that's when for me, the week starts on Monday, whatever. Anyway, immediately I was like, oh crap, now it's Tuesday through Sunday. Like I can't miss. And I hate not having that in the back pocket for if something happens later in the week, because then you're up against the wall of it. It has to be 6 days. It has to be 300 minutes. So that's what makes it the challenging part. Also, it's kind of makes it fun, but I'm definitely in a groove on it. I don't know if I would do it again, but I would definitely do 300 plus training sessions again. Life-wise, I am doing a Spartan race. So
what?
I'll be doing a Spartan race.
This is news to all of us, people.
in a few weeks in June. If anybody wants to join me, it's the one here in Dallas at the Jones AT&T Stadium. It's like inside the stadium or something.
That's weird.
Oh, a stadium race.
Yeah, it's like a 5K. It's not a long one. So what happened was my kids, I wanted to sign them up. They said that they want to do a Spartan race. And so I went online and I like Googled where, the next kid's Spartan race. And they're like, oh, there's one happening in June, like really close to you. I was like, awesome. And so I signed up and I was like, man, this is kind of expensive for a kid's race, like whatever. And then I checked out, and then I had bought not 2 tickets for my boys. I had bought 2 adult tickets. And when I tried entering in their information, they were like, this participant is not old enough. And I was like, what are you talking about? These are the kids' tickets. And then I looked at it, also not refundable, which is good. So you can't refund Spartan. I can transfer to a different race date, but that's not going to happen either. So
did you find a buddy?
My brother's going to do it with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So he's pretty terrified, but I'll let him know it won't be too bad. But then I did go back and sign my kids up, so they will be doing the race. If anybody wants to come down, not you guys. I'm talking about podcast listeners. If you guys want to meet me, I already asked you, and everyone said no.
I'm moving. No.
I asked the entire team, and the whole team told me no.
So I guess we did know about this.
Yeah, everyone had an excuse for not joining. Except for Trampus. Maybe you weren't there. Maybe you missed that meeting.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Would you like to come?
I don't know. You put me on the spot here.
Yeah, I would like for the last and final team member to turn me down on.
He just said he wasn't doing Spartan races, and then in 2 weeks he's going to do a Spartan.
That's why I said that. I was like, within the next 60 days, I bet he'll be doing one.
Oh Lord!
Let me think about it. Yeah, you.
Let me get with my people.
Let me get with my people.
It's only a 5K. And my kids doing it is more important than me doing it, so I'm gonna make sure I kind of walk them through it. But they also want to work out now. Officially, they want to work out every day. Aww. And they will bother me until they get their workout done, which is just cool. I don't know we'll see how long it lasts. They're doing lunges and pull-ups and
I was just body weight stuff.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly tough to look at something they can do while I'm working out. I'm I don't know, just run to the mailbox and run back. Do burpees, But.
Well, they don't work out for more than 20 minutes, so I'm kind of just taking an extended warm up of 10 minutes focused on them, 10 minutes I start warming up, and then they're kind of done in 20 minutes. And but my 7-year-old did tell me yesterday that it wasn't hard enough. So I was like, all right, well, I can make this.
It sounds like something Graham would say.
A lot harder. But yeah, it's good. Maybe I'll write a book on kids fitness one day when
should.
Or whatever.
When they're out of the house or something.
Yeah. Once I've proven that they.
Yeah, once you've proven that it works.
Yeah. I still have probably 15 years.
Plenty of time.
All right. Well, let's hop into the study for this week. It's done in 2022. The name of the study is Different Load Intensity Transition Schemes to Avoid Plateaus and Non-Response in Lean Body Mass Gain in Postmenopausal Women. Just rolls right off the tongue, So really they were looking at, did either one of you pick up why we were looking at postmenopausal women?
Because they're done with the change. So I feel like it's less hormonal shifts.
Yeah, I felt like it was an interesting selection. I didn't, I feel like this is
how it was last week too. I believe they were all postmenopausal as well. They didn't quite specify that, but.
And we've talked about that. Scientists hate females because
of the hormonal shifts, of course.
Yeah, because they're like, well, for it to be a proper experiment, we have to get you all on the same cycle, and that's too much work, so never mind.
There's so much going on there.
Can we just throw that out? Just throw that out. The cycle part, and then just still do the study. And then they could just throw in a caveat that we didn't account for that one factor. I don't see all these other, I don't see, they don't normally break down race, do they? Or any other further breakdown. They say men. We never know what type of men or if they have different ethnic backgrounds or whatever. And I'm sure that could matter to some degree, right? I don't know. But getting into this study, really what we're looking at is when you're lifting moderate load or a lighter load, and we can get into the actual amounts here, how will your body respond, or specifically how these the woman body will respond with lean tissue development and then also overall strength. And I'm trying to pull up where they talk about the loading, because I think they were doing, I had it written down right here. So they had them go through this training program where they would do either 80%, which I thought was a lot.
Yeah.
Or they would drop down to 30% and go through these different lifting schemes. And that's pretty much it. So it took place over 28 weeks, and they had a moderate load is what they called it. But to me is more of a heavy load, because we're talking 80% up to 12 repetitions, and then 30% way more muscular endurance, really high repetitions, 27 plus to 31 repetitions. And then they walked them through this program. And then that was kind of what they were looking at. Let me see if there's anything else I need to hit on. Yeah. 12 weeks, 27, 31. And so both orders of training sequence produced similar increase in lean soft tissue mass. Average rates of lean muscle accrual were similar in the first and second 12 weeks of training. So I actually want to unpack quite a bit more here, but the main purpose was just to look at low load training versus moderate load training and see what kind of results you can get, because I do think that there's this idea that if you want to be lifting weight, it always has to be like heavy, or right, it has to hurt, and we've kind of talked about this. Like this is more like the zone 2 conversation for lifting. It's like, you don't always have to go hard, right? It doesn't always have to be that way. And this is kind of what that's saying. Maybe we can coin a term for zone 2 lifting that has nothing to do with heart rate, maybe like just load and overall intensity selection. But what do you guys think of this study?
Well, I mean, the women were all, again, elderly or older. I don't know. I don't want to like offend anybody. But it was the same length as last week's study as well. And the thing that I want to note here, though, for the biggest part of it, is they all could not have been trained 6 months prior to the study. Like they could have only trained one time a week, right? Mm-hmm. So again, these are females who basically aren't training, and then they're throwing them into the study to look. So what they found was that both ways of working out, of the moderate and the low loads, increased in strength. Both programs increased in absolute load and volume, and their thigh lean soft tissue mass is what they were looking at, also increased. But again, it's coming from women who aren't necessarily working out prior to. So you do have to take that into account, I feel like. I think they were trying to go for like, if you are plateauing, you can then change the way you load things and the way you work out, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but I think you cannot just stay with one type of load at all times, if that makes any sense. I think you need to have a program that uses the different types of loading, where you're doing a little bit higher repetitions, and then you're scaling back, and then, or if you're, moderately loading up, because again, exactly what Jerred said, 80% at 12 reps, that was my thing. I was like, that's a lot of reps at 80%. Like, and it's pretty heavy. And granted, their 1 rep max is, true 1 rep max might be.
Yeah. And it goes to your point of them being like, not very well trained or very well experienced, because I think 80% for a beginner isn't really 80%. Like you could probably force an extra 20 pounds out of a beginner. Be like, hey, I just need you to like squat again, but try harder this time. You're like, oh wow, I PR'd 20 pounds. Like, well, I don't know if I call it PR, but yeah, you did 20 pounds more.
Yeah. But again, yeah, I think they use postmenopausal women because of, less hormone stuff. But overall it was, I agree with what they were getting at, but my overall takeaway for this was you need a program that, is going to touch on all sorts of loading and repetitions. But that was my takeaway. Trampus, what do you think?
Right. So the lower load had the slight edge or whatever. And like you were saying, Ashley, these are untrained older women that probably don't have a ton of muscle mass just from not ever training. So I would expect hypertrophy to help both systems at some degree. Like, and I've heard you talk about it, Jerred, especially with like press. You've said that, yeah, there's strength training protocols, which are usually higher load, lower volume, or lower reps, and then you got hypertrophy. To really build a good press, though, sometimes you need the hypertrophy. You just need the muscle mass to pick the weight up. And I think these ladies were benefiting from the hypertrophy effects of the lower load. And that's why they were able to see such a difference. But then also it kind of starts talking about at the end that like some of them are responders and not responders. And I thought it was interesting that they would use that a non-responder for they were just saying that they were non-responders to like fitness or to training. Like, why would you ever tell someone that you're just a non-responder? You're never gonna you're never gonna get better at this.
Especially a female.
You can actually skip the whole fitness thing for the rest of your life because your body doesn't respond.
You're just not gonna respond. No, and I think what I got out of this is really we're all so different, and it just depends on what you will respond to. Like there is something that your body will get stronger by doing. For a lot of people, it may just be a lower load and practicing that rep over and over and over again at the low loads. And then some people, they need that higher stimulus, they need that heavier weight, and maybe that's when you're getting into like the upper echelons of, say, like a power lifter. You know, they're only gaining 0.01% every time that they train because it just takes that much weight to get them stronger. I don't know. It was a good study. I mean, it showed response out of both. It shows that you can get stronger with both. But I thought it was interesting that they were calling some people just non-responders there at the end, and why any fitness professional would ever just tell somebody they're a non-responder.
Well, I wouldn't say these guys are fitness professionals.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I guess as a takeaway, maybe not do that. What else? Yeah.
So the main thing I wanted to dive into, I thought was interesting because I'm really trying to think of like takeaway for Garage Gym Athlete, listening to this. And if you are hitting a plateau, I think that this is a good argument or a good starting place for just saying maybe change things up. And I think that's a common idea when you hit a plateau, and it almost doesn't matter the form of exercise, whether that's endurance or strength. It's like you're just going to have to do something new. You can't just continue to try more weight on the bar in different ways. Like you're going to have to try something different. But this gives a more a clearer path of something that you could try. But one thing that I just looked at briefly was if you had like 100-pound max on whatever, whatever it's press or squat, or they were doing 80% at 8 reps. So that'd be 640 pounds of total volume for the one set. But if you did 30% of 100 pounds for 27 reps, which is, again, the lower end spectrum of the reps they were looking for, that's 810 pounds of volume.
Right.
So there's a lot more volume in the lower one. And so that might actually just be the takeaway, not necessarily a problem with the study or anything. They were way more muscular endurance, hypertrophy based there, but also significantly more volume, especially when you would equate this over the entire training program and protocol. And so that's something that you might want to take a look at if you feel like you're hitting any sort of strength plateau. If you're hitting a hard strength plateau, go hypertrophy maybe for a cycle and hit a lot more volume. So if you're like on our strength track and you feel like you're hitting this plateau, maybe switch to the endure track or shred track where hypertrophy and volume are in there. Like, and the endure track is going to have more muscular endurance, so higher repetitions. And then shred track would be more hypertrophy based. And so those might be a good switch for you. And so this is super applicable to our athletes actually following the program, especially with the new cycle right around the corner. Just start thinking about these things if you feel like you've hit a plateau, because plateaus are not always solved by a different strength program that's still just having you lift 80 to 90%. Like there's no magic in these sets and reps. Your body might just stop responding at some point, and I'm going to call everyone listening a non-responder, but not really. You just need a different stimulus and something that you should probably pay attention to in your training. And I think that this is something that we should all take into account in our, I don't know, like lifelong fitness journey of what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do is throw in some random cycles of things that not that you necessarily don't like, but to just have nothing to do with your goals. I think that it's good for you as opposed to always doing the same thing all the time, chasing the same strength numbers or whatever you're chasing. Try and mix it up. And that was kind of my takeaway from this study. Specifically, if you're having a strength plateau problem, go hypertrophy for a cycle or just high volume. But then actually look at the volume, actually do the math on the volume and the difference. Because when volume's equated, I actually don't know if there would have been any difference. So I don't know what the exact math would be, but if we brought, so 80% at 8 reps is 640, 30% at whatever, 18, if that equated to the same volume, I bet that the lower intensity group wouldn't have seen as much of a result, because they're not getting any more volume. Like, volume is everything when it comes to strength training and the results that you're seeing. And so start really paying attention to it when you are executing your training. You guys have anything else on this one?
No.
That's about all I had. I think you can, it's a direction to go if you're hitting a plateau. That's about it. Okay, let's get into the topic. So we're talking about planning travel workouts. I believe that's what we're talking about.
Very good. Plan travel workouts.
Yeah, everyone really wanted me on for this one, which is great. So Ashley will go first.
Oh no.
I think she's probably got more experience than I do in creating any sort of plan. So what you got?
I just plan on, I would say I plan the days that I'm going to work out. And I try to keep it the same. Like, I typically work out 4 to 5 days normally during the week. So when we travel, I don't want to necessarily skip a day for that. And like, oh, I'm only going to do 3 days this week or whatnot. Now, granted, the Daily Over Decades Challenge helps you with that, right? It's because if you're going to compete in this, you have to hit the same minutes like Trampus and Jerred were talking about earlier, or skip less days. So typically what we do is Scott and I will sit down and I'll say, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, whether that is a body weight workout, or if we know we are staying in a hotel that has some sort of a gym, we will go online and look at reviews and look and see like what their gym looks like, if we can see that. Sometimes we'll even call them and say, hey, what do you guys have in your gym? And then we will just modify our workout. So I will do what is prescribed that day, if you will, but I just do it with kettlebells or dumbbells or something like that, which can be fun. But then obviously, like, I'm going to have to get on some sort of like either elliptical or treadmill or something like that, but that's okay. You just know that it's just going to be different for that time. Or if there's nothing, then we plan a body weight workout. One man, one system. I've said it time and time again, is what we go to a lot when we go to body weight stuff. We do have the no gear track, which is great, but sometimes you need to do pull-ups and all sorts of stuff that you need like a rack or something for, that we might not necessarily have, especially if you're staying at like an Airbnb. So I suggest planning out the days you're going to work out, and either, for me, if I write it down, it makes me do it. So if you have a Google Calendar, just put on, workout day 1 or something like that. Same thing on my calendar. I just physically actually write it out. I don't take my paper calendar with me, but because I write it out, I do it. I don't know why that is. I've just always been that way. That's why I write out my workouts for the week. And then it just makes me less inclined to not do them, I guess. And then also pack as many workout clothes as you're going to do that week. So then that way you have less of an excuse. I know there's been times where Scott's only packed 1 workout clothes and I'm doing 2 or 3 and he's just reused it, which is disgusting. But I mean, y'all are dudes. Y'all can just, switch underwear underneath your nasty shorts, I guess. I don't know, but that's what we do. And it's worked for us. But yeah, just plan a little bit and think ahead. Trampus, what you got?
Yeah, I've actually had to travel quite a bit in the last couple months. I think it depends on a couple things, the way you plan it, though. Like, a lot of these are overnight work trips, so and every situation is different, depending on if I get there in the afternoon and come back at the end of the next day, or if I'm doing vice versa. But what I have done recently is get up really early and work out before I go to the airport. not work out while I'm traveling and work out when I get home.
Yeah.
And just cut that out altogether. Now, obviously, if you're going for a few days, there's only so much you can do. But we went to the beach a few weeks ago, and we went for about 5 days. And I took a jump rope, a kettlebell, a band, and a bunch of workout clothes. I didn't touch any of the fitness equipment that I took.
I was going to say, that's way too much.
It just sat in the back. It sat in the back of the car. But I mean, the way I look at it is, yeah, I'm going to exercise while I'm on a trip. I'm not going to train necessarily. I'm going to run. We rented those beach bikes, and
doesn't count.
Jared, that's your standard. It might not be Trampus's.
Yeah, it's fine. No, hold on that. I'm gonna qualify it here in a second. We rented the beach bikes. I did not count it when I was riding with my family, but they stopped and went to a playground, and I went on a ride, and I was keeping it in a certain zone, in between zone 2 and 3. So I just used a different apparatus.
Where the handlebars are like really wide.
Don't worry about the handlebar situation.
I've never seen somebody do fitness on one of those bikes before,
it's awful. It's awful, but it's it's just a little bit of killing comfort. I actually hate those handlebars. They were very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Especially when you're used to riding a road bike.
I'd love to see somebody like put their effort face on with one of those bikes.
It was awful. It was absolutely awful. But I got it done. But all I'm saying is, if you're on vacation, especially, you're on vacation, exercise. But I wouldn't beat myself up over losing 5 training sessions when I'm still exercising. I mean, that's the way I've always looked at it. I very rarely will just go to the beach and not do anything. I know that there are some people who will not.
Kyle's done it like one time. he like did it one time and then never again.
We've never stopped giving him crap for it though.
We were just all so surprised. He went on like a 7-day vacation, then he came back and we're like, all right, how many times did you train? He's like, 0. We're like, 0. What just happened? What'd you do? That's how I vacation.
Have like yoga rooms now. Some of them do, like the bigger ones. And you can, instead of do yoga, I'm just saying maybe you can get in there and do some body weight stuff. I did a zone 2, just like stairs, lunges. I did air squats in the airport. People look at you funny, but I mean, if you need to get it in, you're going to get it in. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Find us.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, find some stairs or parking garage or.
And the other thing that I do specific to me and my family is my wife, she exercises here and there, but it is not a priority per se, like it is for me. So I just let her know right up front, I will be working out every day in some capacity. You're going to lose me for an hour. Just keep that in mind when it happens. And it's a little easier to let her know couple days out and continuously remind her than just drop it on her when the kids are going insane and I've got to get my workout in. So
I think that's huge for Scott and I though, because he works out too. Sometimes if we have Connor with us, we have to deconflict. So he's cool with working out in the afternoon. I've always been a morning workout person. He is too, but he loves me so much that he'll do it during Connor's nap and I do it before Connor wakes up. So yeah, I think that's good communication. Is key to any healthy relationship, not just workouts.
But overall, just be flexible and willing to sacrifice something, but still get something done is my main motto. Go ahead, Jerred.
Oh, am I talking on this one? I thought
you don't have to.
You are.
You guys covered it pretty well. I don't.
Moving on to the workout.
You were really good about waking up really, really early and getting it done if you need to do that way.
Yeah, I mean I don't go to hotel gyms. Even if I'm in a hotel, I only will work out in my room or do like a run outside or something like that. But yeah, I'm typically off the program. I don't even know what the programming is when I'm traveling. I typically ignore it. And I used to be very different. I used to be so like militant about trying to stick to a program and like seeing if I could make it work in the hotel or like dropping into a CrossFit gym or whatever. But I don't know. I think my family, it just became too much. And so I just kind of give up. Like I don't even try, like I said, to follow anything. So I don't even actually know what I'm going to do until I get there. And really, once I wake up or whatever, that's when I'll decide what I'm going to do, because sometimes, cardio is possible. Sometimes it's not. I don't think I've truly had to do this like on the 300 challenge. Like I've traveled a little bit this year, but I haven't had like an instance where I can't go like run or something like that. Because if I had to stay in a hotel room and burn 300 calories with my family there, that would be very difficult. But I'm probably gonna end up doing it this year at some point. Yeah. But I don't know, because I tried. I remember I told you guys that one time where it was like the end of the day, everyone was sick, like throwing up in my house or whatever, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna do like push-ups and sit-ups until I get to 300 calories, and that took way too long. Like I was just like doing push-ups in between people throwing up, and just realized that this is not possible. Like you can't just do 300 calories worth of that. So it'd be burpees, I guess, probably what I end up doing. But I don't know, when you've programmed as much as I have, it's also not really like random programming, even if it's like a long trip. Like if I was gone like 7 days, 10 days, something like that, I'm still thinking about all the things that we think about in our programming. I'm like, okay, well, I did this yesterday, so this is what this will have to be today. And like, I'm hitting all these different areas, and I just kind of do that stuff naturally because it's all second nature to me at this point. So I do think the principles are super early morning or super late at night. And late at night doesn't normally work on a vacation, especially if you're like going out to dinner or like trying to do something, you're not in your typical routine. So it really just needs to be early morning, like wake up before everybody else does and then get it done. Because that's really your only option. And I do have a longer trip coming up this summer. And I think that it will be a challenge because there's going to be a lot of driving around on this trip and not a lot of time for fitness. And it's my biggest concern for the 300 challenge. I have no doubt I'll get it done, but there might be some like really crappy cases, make for good podcast content though. So we'll wait till the trip's over and I'll see how it went. But I think just waking up early and getting it done and doing whatever you have to, if you're doing the 300 challenge, getting in your minutes and getting in your calories, or just ride a bike with some fat handlebars and
oh my gosh,
roll down the street. Was it like an e-bike too?
No, it was a pedal bike. It wasn't electric.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad. Yeah. I will say, you don't like going to the hotel gyms. I tried that with a couple of my work trips, and they've gotten better. The gyms have gotten better, depending on the ones you go to. Like they even have kettlebells in some of them now. No, they're not real heavy kettlebells, but they are kettlebells. And
I should start.
There was a plyo box in one of them, which I thought was kind of random. Now the cardio equipment is all just like it used to be. It's just terrible. But like
this last one had 100-pound dumbbells in San Antonio, the hotel we stayed in when we were house hunting. It was pretty impressive. So like Scott was doing all sorts of things.
I've seen up to 80, and they usually have a pull-up bar of some sort. They've always got those cable machines, but
I mean, you got mirrors all around you too, so you're in a bro room.
I've never looked so good.
just do some curls and look over. Hey, yeah.
You do have to deal with the people that are in there usually.
We had nobody in there. That's why we like going early. Like if it's just the two of us, we don't have a kid. We're in there like 6 a.m. Nobody's ever in there.
Just do burpees.
Oh gosh.
Well, going back
to and handstand walks or whatever you did.
So that's one of my favorites. Is you do handstand push-ups until you fail, and then once you fail, you do either squats or burpees, and then the goal is to get to 100 handstand push-ups. It's my favorite travel workout. It will be the worst workout you've ever done.
Oh yeah.
You can just hear it now and it's like, doesn't sound too bad, but you'll eventually reach muscle failure on the handstand push-ups. And then you're going to like do 2. And then you have to do 20 either squats or burpees or whatever, then you're back, then you do like 1 handstand push-ups, and then you're back to 20 burpees. And it should be a Meet Yourself Saturday. I should just go ahead and like make that official. But on the e-bike thing, I had a family member get an e-bike, like one that you can pedal, but it also has like some ease support or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, so you go a little bit faster. And I greatly offended them because
Shocker.
This person was talking about going up this big hill in their neighborhood. And I was like, wow, I have to earn those hills. And that was like really offensive. I wasn't trying to like offend, but I was like, that's cool. You get to go up the hill without having to earn it. Like I had to earn it to get up that hill. That's not, do you guys think that's offensive? Is that like
I would have said it. Like
the only reason I wouldn't have is like I was on an e-bike in Germany, 8 months pregnant, and yeah, it gives you an assist, but you still have to do some work. And there was, it's Germany, and we were in like where Neuschwanstein is and like Alpspitze, and so that's like mountains, right? So we are up incline. It still sucked. Granted, I was 8 months pregnant, so I still did it on an e-bike, and it's not like it was definitely easier. I will give you that. But I can see why said person got offended.
Yeah. It's not my wife, just so we're clear. It's not Emily. I'm not trying to be that vague. I just don't want to call anybody else in my family out. I think that's it. And then hiking. So
you're calling Joe out if you do this.
No, it depends on where you go, but I have done a lot of hiking. I've done like Colorado and probably like North Carolina. That's where I've done most hiking in the US, and some in California. Not a lot in the Northeast. But my family, like Emily's family, lives up there, and they did we were going on some amazing hike. It's gonna be really hard, and it's super naturey, and this is what they tell us. And then we pull up, and there's traffic. There's traffic to get into this hiking spot, and I was like, okay, this is a bad sign. I'm not talking about like traffic, random traffic. I'm talking about all the cars are trying to get to this hiking spot. I'm like, this already can't be a hard hike. Like this is what my brain is thinking. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like there are 1,000 people dying to get into a hard hike. That's not how hard things work. And then we had to pay a fee to park our car. Whatever. And then we get there, and they had just carved out like concrete steps with a handrail.
That is not a hike.
Like a mile up the mountain.
That is not a hike.
And like everything that was dangerous had like a fence around it, like the waterfall. Like it's like, oh, nature. So I'm not saying all the Northeast is like that, but I was just like, yeah, this is a pretty challenging hike. But because you didn't, going back to my point, because you don't have to earn that view that you're seeing, there are a lot of people there, right? And it's not hard. So you have to earn things. That's why when you look at like the All Trails app, definitely like gravitate towards the ones that say hard or medium. You'll see less people. That's always good.
So just a crazy variant of what you just said. I've been on some hikes though, like that are 7-8 miles long or so, and you get to about mile 5, and someone has brought steps out, and I think like the CCC and a lot of these companies back in the 50s and 60s would go out to these like way out places, and I've always thought they didn't have like heavy equipment. Somebody carried these back here. Now that is a workout. Like, because you are like hiking, a
donkey or something. Yeah,
you are hiking and you are working when you get there. But
so I was saying all that for traveling in selection of what you're going to do on your travel.
Yeah.
So it's all made sense. But we can get into the workout.
You can't count that as a hike or as a workout.
Yeah. Who's briefing the South Wrestler?
I got it up. South Wrestler, 10 rounds for time or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. 3 cleans at 135. You can scale down as needed. 6 hand release push-ups, 9 burpees, 12 pull-ups, 24-foot bear crawl. And that's it. Did that 10 times.
Not too hard.
Good one.
What kind of tips you guys got?
Go ahead, Ashley.
Okay. So for the cleans, 95 would be competitor for the females, and then I would scale down from there. Hand release push-ups, I think anyone can pretty much do. I think the thing here though is you're gonna have to keep moving. I hate it. I don't know. I just feel like you can't really stop in between to make that 30-minute time cap. So those 9 burpees, you got to get up, get down. And the pull-ups obviously can be scalable too. You can do ring rows, inverted body rows, whatever you need to do there. Did we specify? I don't think we specified. You can kip those, right, to get those done, because you're trying to get it done in 30 minutes, right? Or would you want them strict?
I would want them strict.
Okay, well then there's that. We're doing strict pull-ups.
I don't know if that's the rule though. I would normally like go strict until you can't. I even do that if it's not like Murph or something. If it's a 4-time anything, I normally will do strict pull-ups until I can't. And then once I can no longer do strict pull-ups, then I'll start thinking about kipping, just because I don't need to get better at kipping pull-ups, you know?
For sure. I just didn't know, since it was like a time thing that we're trying to hit. I don't know. I don't have like that bear crawl is going to suck too. Make sure that I would mark that out before you do it. I know some watches can obviously tell you where you're at, but I would do that so that way you hit it every single time, and maybe do 12 feet down and then 12 feet back kind of thing. So that way you get back to where you're at. But this one's a fun one. It's definitely gonna allow yourself to meet yourself, if you will, if you do it correctly. And then I don't know, music wise, I would probably do some sort of rock on this one, just because I don't know, cleans always bring out the
rock in you,
the rock in me. Travis, what you got?
Yeah, I feel like this one, there's every exercise is so different. Like, you can keep a pretty good pace with this. Like, there's a lot of volume over and over and over and over again, but like, it's 3 cleans and then you go to hand release push-ups. Like, you have recovery time just because of how different the exercises are. So you just want to keep a good steady pace. Probably not go as hard as you can, because you
got to get all this done in 3 minutes, basically, or less per round. It's quite that. That adds up.
Yeah, you'll hit a wall. I don't know.
Like you don't know what your tips are.
No, I don't know what my tips are. I don't know of a good way to game. I don't know of a good way to game this. Like, you just gotta do it, and you gotta do it quickly. But I think if you go too fast, you're gonna hit a wall somewhere.
I think treat it as an EMOM, a 3-minute EMOM. As Ashley said, you have to finish each one of these rounds in 3 minutes to be able to get it under the time cap. So I would look at it as a rolling 3-minute clock. And that way, if you want to just do it for time, you can do it for time. But the only actual goal of this is to finish it. There is no, I have a faster time for you. This isn't CrossFit. This is finishing the workout. That's all it is. It's you want to do 10 rounds for time, but you want to do it in 30 minutes or less. So what I would do is set up a 3-minute like EMOM timer. There are a lot of apps that do this. And so it counts down from 3 minutes, and say I did all of that in 2 minutes, I would rest that remainder minute. And then I would tackle the next set after I had the rest. What can happen when you do try and game workouts like this, though, is the wheels fall off at like, the 6th or 7th round or something. And you can know there's basically no rest anymore, right? There's just like, okay, I got to go straight back. But that's a great way to push yourself. And you might realize that pretty early on. So if you take the approach that I'm talking about, because it's really my only tip, is if you try the every 3 minutes on the minute type thing like I'm talking about, and the first round takes you 2 minutes and 51 seconds, completely abandon my plan and just do your best to finish it, because that 9 seconds of rest is going to vanish after the 3rd round. But if you finish this really fast, and I think that you really could, I think you could go sub 2 minutes on all of that, depending on your pull-up speed. I think that's what would slow most people down.
Mm-hmm.
But sub 2 minutes, maybe even sub 1 minute if you are really good at pull-ups, and then just rest the remainder and keep doing that until you no longer can. That's how I'd tackle this one. Cool. Well, that's it for this week. We will get out of here. For all of our Garage Gym athletes out there following the programming, listening to the podcast, we really do appreciate you. If you are not signed up for the programming yet, go to garagegymathlete.com, sign up for a 14-day free trial, and we would love to have you. But that's it for this. And remember, if you don't kill comfort, comfort will kill you. To the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.